Good day, virtual learners. Welcome back to another session of English 8 live streaming lesson. I hope that everyone is safe and doing great. Because of this pandemic, there has been a significant change happen in our lives. In general, the new normal has affected the system, including education. Unlike before, we have the traditional classroom setting where we can see our teachers and classmates physically. In response to this change, we conducted the distance learning, where you can see each other virtually to avoid the spreading of the virus. Here in DepEd Valenzuela, with the full support of our city government, led by Mayor Rex Gatchalian, education is still possible, easy, and accessible. Again, no student in DepEd Valenzuela will be left behind. Let's help and support one another with the hashtag, no matter what the situation is, education must continue. Before going any further, let us recall our learning principles. Listen, note, and learn. Listen attentively and pay attention throughout the discussion. Note the important details. At the same time, you may take note of your questions during the discussion, and you will be given enough time to type it in the comment section for the Q&A part. Learn something new, and together, we learn as one. Always remember, listen, note, and learn. Now, kindly type your name, grade section, as well as the name of your school in the comment section for your attendance. Are you done, learners? Okay, let's now proceed. I am now very excited and thrilled to launch you into another fun-filled learning experience. But first, for the most essential learning competency covered in our lesson is to determine the various social, moral, and economic issues discussed in the text listened to. And for our objectives, 1. Recognize propaganda techniques used on a given text. 2. React to what is asserted or expressed in a text. For this lesson, we will use the strategic, localized, and interactive instructional material about determining various social, moral, and economic issues discussed in the text listened to. In the previous session, you have learned about how emphasis markers function in persuasive writing. Always keep in mind that persuasive writing tries to persuade the reader to act on a concept or an opinion by appealing to the audience through reason, character, and emotion, as well as the use of emphasis markers. These emphasis markers are words and expressions that stress a point based on their categories and purposes, and they are important to know and apply when writing persuasively. This time, I will embark you to another exciting episode in our live streaming lesson about propaganda. It is important to develop good listening skills. It allows you to be a more active listener. You keep your hands active while listening, especially if you're listening to the news. When you are watching or listening to the news, keep this in mind. Make sure to discern facts from opinions when watching programs, commercials, or advertisements. To be an active listener to the media, remember the following points. First, think about the message or messages being delivered by the program you are listening to. Do you agree or disagree with them? 2, set your own standards about what you will listen to. Does the program meet your standards? If it does not, turn off the program or switch to another program. Lastly, 3, limit the time that you spend listening to the broadcast media. Remember that aside from listening to programs, you can also spend time reading, learning a new hobby or skill, interacting with people, or writing. Again, when a piece of writing tries to persuade you to think or feel a certain way, it is called propaganda. Propaganda is evident in making sales and political speeches, which both try to persuade you to buy a product or vote for a particular candidate. Advertising is one of the most common types of propaganda. Now, what is an advertising? Advertising calls the attention of the public to a product or business, especially to promote sales. The youth is the most common target of advertising. Its power leads you to believe that one brand is better than the other brand. Now, since you already have knowledge about propaganda techniques, let's have a short review of the following. What propaganda technique is used in this picture? Correct! Bandwagon. It persuades people to do something by telling them that others are doing it. It's something that everyone is doing. It uses your desire to belong to the group to persuade you into wearing a certain style of clothing. Since it is the in thing, you are encouraged to join the others without considering your decision. How about in this picture? What propaganda technique is used here? Alright, transfer. It relates a person, idea, or thing to others that have proven to be good or beneficial. Another example, when you campaign for class president by saying that you are related to the mayor, you are guilty of propagandizing by transfer. Next picture. Very good. Emotional words are words that will make the reader feel strongly about someone or something. It usually appeals to sympathy or the use of guilty feelings to persuade. Another example for emotional words is an ad that convinces a woman or a mother to buy a certain toy for her child would play on her guilt at being away from home and convinces her that the toy will let the child know that her mother is good and that she loves him. How about this picture? The answer is testimonial. It uses a famous person to recommend a product or idea. You are not expected into qualities of the person or things in the advertisement. You are expected to buy a product because of the prestige of the celebrity endorsing it. Last one. You got it right. The propaganda technique used here is card stacking, manipulating or withholding relevant information about a product, person, or idea in commercials. Another example for card stacking is an ad might claim that survey shows that the most people prefer this brand of toothpaste, but it does not reveal that only 10 people took part in the survey. The capacity to discern critical differences and achieve a balanced opinion is crucial, not only in the classroom, but also in many circumstances in everyday life. Reading abilities that help the student to make wise decisions include drawing conclusions and developing judgments. A conclusion is often an intuitive rather than a well-reasoned deduction. As a result, many decisions are made based on instinct rather than logic. This should not be the case, since in order to reach the correct conclusion, a person must be aware of specific facts, examine the ideas involved, and make a decision. While a judgment, like a conclusion, should be made only after one has analyzed the facts involved according to a standard or criterion of what the truth is. The decisions may be neutral, meaning the person involved does not take sides. For example, she is not fat. It may also be negative or belittling. Example, he is skinny. Or it can be positive, like he is slender. The connotation word is taken into consideration. The choice of word in describing a person, place, or thing often indicates the type of judgment. Now, to sum it up, propaganda is a form of communication that aims to influence the attitude of a community and further an agenda. The techniques used in propaganda include bandwagon, testimonial, transfer, emotional words, and card stacking. Such techniques are useful in propaganda because it helps the readers or viewers to understand the intentions of words and expressions of the advertisement. Lastly, it is very important to analyze an information first before believing them. That's why drawing conclusions and forming judgments are reading skills that train the student to make wise decisions. Alright, I hope that everything is clear to you. To kickstart your progress, let's have a short drill. Be ready with your pen and paper for this activity. Identify the following propaganda techniques by writing B for bandwagon, TR for transfer, EW for emotional words, T testimonial, and CS for card stacking. You have 10 seconds to answer each number. You may start now. Okay, let's check your answers. Please be honest in checking your work. Number 1, the answer is D. Number 2, B. Number 3, EW. Number 4, CS. Number 5, TR. Number 6, CS. Number 7, TR. Number 8, the answer is B. Number 9, B. And number 10, T. Did you get all the correct answers? Job well done! If not, it is alright. Always remember, there is always a room for improvement. I am now ready to answer questions from our viewers today. Kindly type your questions in the comment section. I will be giving you 1 minute to key in your questions. Your time starts now. Time's up. For the first question, what are the advantages and disadvantages of advertising? Thank you for asking. For the advantages, we have first, sales promotion. Number 2, production expansion. Number 3, enhances a person's positive reputation. Number 4, large profits and turnover. Number 5, information about various options and price comparisons. Number 6, creates job opportunities. And number 7, higher living standards. While for the disadvantages, we have first, increases the cost of production and the cost of the product. Second, as a result, a price war begins. Number 3, untruthful advertising, and as a result, unequal competition arises. Number 4, creates a monopolistic market. A monopolistic is a market where only one company may offer products and services to the public. Number 5, promotes consumption that isn't necessary. And last one, moral values are eroding. Let's proceed to question number 2. How do you develop a good judgment? Thank you for that another good question. I have read a blog called Milius. According to them, there are 6 ways to improve personal judgment. The ability to make decisions using imperfect data to create least bad solutions is one of the many areas where human brain power is more elastic than computers. Therefore, the ability to make the right decisions and exercise good judgment is one of our 10 essential skills for the next decade. For the first one, be aware of personal bias. Recognize where your unconscious preferences and motivations influence how you make decisions. Number 2, consider opposite points of view. Good judgment is about making the best decision rather than ensuring your viewpoint wins out. Number 3, accept your mistakes. Good leaders are self-aware, able to take responsibility for mistakes, and to take negative feedback when required. Number 4, learn from experience. Bank what works and avoid repeating what didn't. Number 5, avoid flip-flopping. Use instinct where necessary to make a decision and start to take action. Number 6, automate repeat and routine decisions to free your mind for more important decisions. Asking questions shows your eagerness to learn. Thank you for your interminable participation. For those questions that were not answered, don't worry because your subject teacher will answer them in your follow-up discussion. Once again, thank you for participating for today's live streaming lesson. Now, for the activities that you need to accomplish, this will help you to further understand the topic that we have discussed. Alright, hope that everything is clear. Apparently, no one knows when this pandemic will end, but we are sure it's getting near. So while we are waiting for its end, education must not freeze. Thank you for watching English 8 live streaming lesson. And to our grade 8 students, have a nice day. See you in our next session. Goodbye, stay safe, and God bless.